Welcome to episode 92 of the Twig Snapper Podcast. Today I'm joined by Avery Farrell. Avery, how are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm not gonna lie, work was horrible today. I'm a forester, and the bugs were so bad, and it was humid and wet. But I'm okay now. It was a bad day, but I'm okay now.
You forget the bug spray, or what happened?
No, I had bug spray. There's just so many, and I was like working in a swamp. It was just awful. When I was driving down the road, I looked out my mirror, and I kid you not, by like each mirror of the truck, there was a cloud of like 200 deer flies just following the truck. It was bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people, I tell them about that. They're like, "Yeah, I could never do that." And I'm like, "Well, I don't like it either. It only lasts for like June and July, but it's horrible. It's horrible."
Well,
So when people
yeah.
complain about when bugs, I'm like, you don't know what bad bugs are.
Well, okay. So I was walking my dog at this like dog park, and it's in the woods, and there was a cloud of them. So I ended up just running. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
And
I've done that before. I'm like end of the day, and I want to get back to my truck and leave. I just like run through the woods so they can't get. It's terrible because summer's supposed to be like you want like good weather and stuff, but there's bugs. Like if we could just take bugs away, summer would be perfect. You could go in the woods and it'd be great. But we're not here to talk about bugs. We're here to talk about hockey. So we might as well start talking about some hockey.
All right.
You played high school hockey. You grew up in Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like pretty top notch for high school hockey. Probably best girls high school hockey in the country. And maybe there's some places out east that could rival it, but all in all, probably some of the best girls high school hockey you're gonna get. And you had 100 points in 96 games. Just it's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. Was that something you were conscious of, like throughout high school? You like keeping tabs on that, like doing your best to stay point per game and like keep your points up?
Well, freshman and sophomore year, I'm gonna be honest with you, I just really didn't care. I just played for fun. But here in senior year, I kind of decided, I was like, well, I kind of want to do this in college now, so I put more work into it. And then then I really knew how many points I was getting per game, and then started getting close to 100 at the end there. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but got it on the dot. So
yeah. Well, it's good you got it. It always sucks if you like end up like one short. You're like, oh man, like 99 is still good, but 100 is way better.
yeah, better.
Yeah, there's just something about that like 100. It sounds better. I don't know.
Yeah, no, great.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, how would you say your high school experience was? I don't know, competition wise and just like everything.
I think we had a lot of competition. We were in one of the hardest sections. We would always hardest conferences too. We'd always play Andover, Maple Grove, Centennial. Those were like our biggest rivals, I would say. So we always had someone good to play. And I think the conferences switched up at some point. So like junior and senior year were like really hard. We never made it to state, but we got close a couple times, but never made it all the way through.
Well, if you're playing in a really hard conference, I guess you
Yeah.
can use that as your excuse. That's why you never made it. Not that your team was bad. It's just that the other teams were so good.
Yeah. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, Maple Grove. I know they're good at like guys hockey, so they good at both guys and girls hockey.
Yeah, they go to state pretty much every year in our section. So yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, just every year. Yeah, they're just okay.
Right. No.
Was your I ask everyone this, but was your recruiting process pretty chill? Was it pretty stressful? Did you know what you wanted? You have like schools in mind, or you just kind of went into it and you just kind of took it as it came?
Well, so what actually got me started into wanting to be committed is sophomore year. I had colleges talk to me after there was like a Schwann's tournament or something in December, and my coach told me, he was like, "Oh yeah, all these schools just talked to me about you," and I was like, "Huh." So maybe that's kind of where it started. And I feel like I was just really, I was like late to the game, I feel like, and they did that like 5th year stuff with COVID and all that. So a lot of teams were already full and then kind of didn't really have many options, but I ended up at Franklin Pierce, which actually really loved the first year and the year I had. It just couldn't see myself there for 3 more years. So it's kind of why I transferred. So yeah.
Yeah, you guys had a pretty good year too. I mean, pretty good season. You were over 500. You had a tough overtime loss in conference semifinals, but I mean, overall, pretty good year for a school that's not necessarily been a top hockey school for a long time. Like, they're building a program there.
Right. It's only their 4th year at D1 too. So I think, yeah, we did do pretty good. I mean, had a couple big wins, played some top teams. I think we skated with them pretty well for most of the game anyway. So
Yeah. You had a pretty good year yourself, 28 points and 36 games. And obviously points aren't everything in hockey. Like, there's other stats that mean a lot, but the points, people tend to look at that and they're like, that's how they judge people on being good or bad. Even if it's stupid sometimes, especially with like defensemen. I was listening to, a podcast, and they're talking about Erik Karlsson and how he might get traded from the Sharks, and how all the Sharks fans, that's what they use to talk that he's a good defenseman, that he can get like 100 points. It's like, well, would you rather a guy who can get 100 points or a guy who's actually good at defense? So stats aren't everything, obviously, but 28 points as a freshman is pretty good. Did you go into the year expecting that you were going to be able to put up some points, or were you kind of just like, I have no idea how I'm going to be able to compete. I don't know if I'm going to be able to adjust. Let's just see what happens.
I honestly had no idea. I did not know what to expect going into that year, but I think I got some points right away. And so that's where I kind of, I don't know, got used to everything and found my place on the team. And so that's how I kind of started it. But yeah, I don't know, going in, I no idea what to expect. I mean, I watched him a little bit on TV, but it's like hard to judge, I feel like.
Right. It's hard to, like, it's good competition, but just watching it from TV, you don't know until you start playing against these girls
Right.
to really understand the speed and the skill and just the, like, it's obviously, it's like a lot of these girls have a higher hockey IQ than you'd see with high schoolers, because you're playing against some of those 5th years that are holding over from that COVID year, and they've obviously had 4 years of D1 hockey under their belt, so they got a lot of experience. And to come in as a first year and put up some numbers is obviously, you can't ask for more than that. So I generally ask people what about their first goal, but since you had more than one, I'm going to ask you, what was your most exciting goal? Well, maybe it was your first one, but if it wasn't, what was your most exciting goal? Like, what game did it happen? How did it happen? Give us the story.
So it wasn't a goal, it was actually an assist. It was my first assist point, I will say. Is at St. Thomas. It was overtime, the second game of the series. We just lost the first one. And since it was the first time Franklin Pierce came to Minnesota, it was just like packed, because all the girls are from Minnesota anyway. So like everyone's families, friends with families were there. There's so many people there in the stands watching. And I got the overtime winning assist, and the place just went nuts. Like, I don't even know. It was just so much fun. Never forget it.
Yeah. Well, especially if you knew most of the people in the stands, your family's there, and then it's your first assist, game winner. I mean, what were you? Obviously, you were excited afterwards, but did you do any celly, or did you jump up and down, or what?
I was probably jumping. I don't even know what was happening. I was just so excited.
Do you have a celly for your goals? Like, do you have a special, like, what do you do when you score?
Just like, woo! I don't
That's
know.
it. Oh man, you gotta get something better than that. Everyone's got a good celly, especially now you're putting up some points this upcoming season. That's what you got to work on. You gotta get a celly just for the podcast.
All right. Well, what do you think I should do? You got to give me some ideas here.
I don't know. I
You like
mean,
the like bow and
the
arrow or
bow and
like
arrow, that's a good one. Or like I don't even know what it's called, but they kind of go down on the one knee and they like when they're sliding
oh,
across, they like put, hands on the ice. I don't know what it's called, but I know they all have some goofy name. Or the bow and arrow, that's a pretty good one.
mm,
Or I don't know. You just have to look up good sellies. Like what does Connor McDavid do? I mean, look up somebody who scores a lot. What do they do?
ooh.
And then whip that out in a game.
Okay, some research on it.
Yeah, there you go. That's your homework. If you get anything out of this podcast, it's that you have to get a celly.
Yeah, okay, I'll get on that.
So you already mentioned that you had a good year, you liked Franklin Pierce, but you just couldn't see yourself there for 3 more years. So obviously you entered the portal. When you entered the portal, did you know that you wanted to go back to Minnesota? Like, was that like in your head, like, I want to go back closer to home and play? Because obviously there's a lot of options for
Yeah,
college hockey in Minnesota. Was that on your list, or did that come out through the process?
it kind of both. Like, I was thinking it would be nice to move back to Minnesota, but at the same time, I was fine staying out east. Like, I kind of did like it out there in a way, but it just worked out, I guess. Like, I don't know, can't complain.
So did you have a priority list, like things you were looking for in the schools? Like in order to go to this school, they've got to have this, 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 and this. You like check off the list and make sure they had what you wanted, or you weren't super picky?
I mean, I was kind of picky because I'm gonna be there for 3 more years. So I
Right.
mean, it. I wanted it to be like hard and competitive was like the biggest thing because I just felt like I just wasn't challenged enough at Franklin Pierce. I feel like so I just really wanted a challenge, and then it's nice that St. Cloud is close to home. I really like the coaches and facilities, so I don't know, just kind of worked out, I guess.
Yeah. Well, can't ask for much more than that. Some people have the worst time in the transfer portal. So the fact that, you found where you wanted to go, and you're close to home, but you're still not like right at home. You're still a little ways away, but your family, I'm sure, can come to these games, more of these games than they did your Franklin Pierce games. Um,
Hmm.
which is nice. It's always better to play when you've got familiar faces in the crowd, and the people cheering for you, your friends and family, and I'm sure they want to see you too. um so it's definitely exciting. Do you have like goals in mind for yourself? Like, what you did as a freshman with points and like different things. Like, do you have another goal, like, oh, I want to pass that up, I want 15 goals, I want 20 goals, I want, like, do you have any goals in that, or you just want
Um,
to?
well, so it's kind of like the same thing as going into Franklin Pierce. I just don't know what to expect because now I'm in the WCHA, which is like one of the best leagues there is, and it's like it is at a different level than the new hobby because it where I was is like so new to D1 that it's like it's just like a faster pace. So
Yeah.
it's like hard to judge that right now, but I don't really know. I guess once the whole team gets there and we get some practices under our belt, I'll probably be able to gauge more of where I'm at and make some goals, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard, like you said, completely different competition levels. These schools are more known for hockey than those schools. I mean, hockey is much more serious here. I'm not no disrespect to those other schools. It's just, it's a different animal. I mean, like you said with Franklin Pierce, it's only their 4th year D1. Like, maybe someday they'll be known for hockey, but you got to build up to that, and it takes a long time to build that culture. You're going to St. Cloud, there's a huge culture for hockey there on the men's and women's side. I mean, it's a hockey school. When people think of St. Cloud State, the only sport I think of is hockey. Like, I don't think of other sports. I don't even know if they're good at other sports. Just know they're good at hockey.
Yeah, I don't think they're division their sports, so I think
Probably
that's
not. Yeah, there's a like Tech, we're D1 for men's hockey, and then D2 for everything else. And I know like Minnesota State, same thing. They're D2 for their football and their basketball. And And a lot of those schools are like that, where hockey's the main focus, especially in Minnesota. Hockey's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, you got a lot of lakes, so
Well,
gotta,
right. What else are you going to do in the winter?
yeah.
You got to did you do a lot of that growing up?
Pond
Pond
hockey
hockey and
all the time. We got ponds in our backyard. We always make a rink. So yeah. Or just like
yeah.
the outdoor rink at the Rogers High School. Go there a lot too.
Yeah. There's not a ton of lakes. I mean, there's like little lakes where I'm from up in Michigan, but we have a canal that runs right through Houghton and Hancock. So sometimes if that freezes over, good, people will play on the canal. Otherwise, yeah, just different outdoor rinks and stuff. You can't drive by them without them being packed. Doesn't matter. It'll be like 20 below zero. There'll still be kids out there playing hockey.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta do it. These Minnesotans,
Right. As long as you're moving, you're fine. You stay
yeah.
warm. So, do you have like special training that you do in the off season? Do you train with a group of people? You train on your own?
Well, usually I do this thing called game face. So just like an off ice thing. They mostly train football players, so I'll just like run the routes with them. Sometimes they let me catch football. I don't know. This is kind of fun. But this year I'm actually in St. Cloud because they have a summer training they do. So I've been doing that. We lift for like an hour and a half, maybe skate an hour and a half ish. And then that's it. Do that 5 days a week.
Is the whole team there, or is it an optional thing? Some people aren't there.
It's just an optional thing. So it's like a lot of the Minnesota girls and then most of the freshmen and transfers. So it's just like who's around. It's just like
Yeah,
a resource.
right. And it's just extra help, training in the summer, and it's structured, obviously, so you don't have to like worry about doing it on your own and like not keeping up with it because you're there and
Yeah.
you go to practice and you skate and for you too, it's got to be good because then you get like more connected with your new teammates and you like can spend some
Right.
time and like you get to know them a little bit more before the season. So then when the season starts, it's not like, oh, I don't know who any of these people are.
Right. Kind of you way to ease into it. So it's been
Yeah,
really
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Um, how about some non-hockey question? Like, what's your favorite non-hockey sport? Did you play other sports growing up?
I played hockey or obviously soccer, golf. I would say golf is my favorite sport, but like just have not been getting along lately. So I'm gonna go with tennis.
Have you been playing golf and just not doing good, or you've just not been playing golf?
I've been playing. I just like can't seem to like just pull it all together. Like usually like my driver's just terrible. It just goes in the woods every single time. Like I'll just tee off with my 6-iron and it'll be fine. But then I had this one day where my drives just somehow were hitting the fairway. I don't even know how. Just this one day. And then my irons were just terrible. Like I don't like just can't pull it together and it's just making me mad. So I'm gonna move on to tennis. Tennis is my favorite sport.
So what you're saying is if we asked who's the best golfer on St. Cloud women's hockey team, it wouldn't be you, is what you're trying to say?
Definitely not. I wish it
Best
was.
best tennis
Think
player? Question mark.
hard to say. I'd have to play them, but I feel like there's some pretty good athletes on that team. It might be hard to claim that title. I
Do you
don't
play
know.
tennis often, or are you just picking a random sport because you need a new sport?
Um, I played like twice this summer. I don't know.
Uh,
Pretty.
that's yeah, that's enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Are
No.
you better at tennis than you are at golf?
Oh, for sure. Oh, we can throw pickleball in there. I played that a lot this summer.
With old people or young people?
Both. Play with my parents sometimes, and then I play with my friends.
So you're trying to say your parents are old? Wow.
No. Okay. Don't don't say that.
I didn't say it. I said old people, and then you're like, yeah, I play with my parents and I play with my friends. I didn't say it.
Okay,
You said it.
like the podcast.
I just
They
know
don't-
that there's a lot of older people that play pickleball because they can. Like people in their like 60s and 70s can play it easier than other sports. That's why I asked.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then you said your parents, so you're throwing them under the bus that they're old. If they listen to this, I'm sure you're gonna get a nasty text like,
Probably getting one. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
hey, you said it. You can't throw me under the bus for this one.
I didn't mean to. You made me say it.
I set you up. I set you
Yeah.
up. Oh, that's the worst thing that you say on this. I'm sure it's okay.
Okay. Well, we'll see when I get that text later.
Yeah. We'll see we'll see how they take it. Maybe they'll think it's funny.
I mean, maybe.
Do they have a good sense of humor?
Yeah, they do. They'll think it's
Okay.
funny.
See, I could have set you up there. You could have been like, no, my parents aren't funny at all. But you got that one.
Uh-huh.
So, changing gears here completely. Being from Minnesota, you like all the Minnesota sports teams, Vikings, Wild, Timberwolves, Twins, or no?
I do like the Wild and the Vikings, but I will say my top NHL team is probably the Capitals. They just haven't done very good the last couple of years, but
The Wild aren't that great either, though. I mean, like,
that's why well, okay.
wow. Oh, wait. I am not a bandwagon. You just gave us the definition of a bandwagon. They're not very good, so I switched to a team I thought would be better.
No, okay, because my dad really has a weird obsession with Alex Ovechkin. So, like a while back, before they won the Stanley Cup, we were always watching the Capitals. They're always on our TV, and then I just end up always watching them. So it's like my dad's team, but kind of my team too now because it's just on the TV, so I watch. And the Wild isn't. So I mean, they're my team, like, but
yeah. So you're a Capitals fan, but if the Wild win the Stanley Cup, I'm gonna be
a Wild fan all the way.
Yeah,
Wild,
yeah.
we're gonna
So
forget this conversation.
You're like you're on a teeter totter. You're just like tipping to whichever side is winning.
I mean, it's okay to have two teams. There's a lot of teams in the NHL. I just feel like that's not bad.
I guess. But the diehard fans only have one true team. Let's go with another question here. Another question. If you won $1 million right now, what would you do with it?
So, I would buy a house in Greece and buy a plane. Is that in the price range?
Maybe not. Maybe not a plane. The house in Greece for sure. But I don't know why would you want to live in Greece?
I'd just have a house there. It'd be like a party house. So I'd bring all my friends and we'd just go there.
But why Greece?
Because it's like hot and it's pretty, and that's where Mamma Mia was filmed.
Mamma Mia is great, but I still I don't know. I feel like there's better options. But okay. So house and airplane. Okay, we'll change it to like $10 million, so maybe you can afford an airplane.
Okay, so I have a house and an airplane, and whenever I feel like it, I'll just fly all my friends and their friends, just everybody, and we just fly out to my house in Greece. We just have like a great time out there. That's it. That's my plan.
That's your plan.
Yeah.
Party in Greece whenever you want.
Yes. Pretty much.
It's not bad. I mean, you got $10 million. Why not? You'd be you'd be the coolest person on the team. Everyone would want to be your friend.
I know. I'd be great. I'd be everybody's friend.
You'd have a lot of fake friends. You'd have all these people you haven't talked to in like 10 years. Hey, how are you? How you doing? We should hang out soon. Would you rather it always be cold and snowing for like ever, just nonstop, or always be like 90 plus degrees and raining?
Oh, this is tough. This is really tough because I really like rain. It makes me so happy. But like, I just love it.
Okay, I was wrong. There's a problem with this question. Who loves rain?
I'm gonna have to go the cold and the snowing because nothing feels better than like going to a hockey game when it's like really cold and snowing. It's just the best feeling. So cold
But
and snowing.
forever. There's no beach, no boating.
For the sake of my last 3 years of hockey, I'm gonna have to say cold and snowing.
Okay. Thanks for coming on the pod. Good luck at St. Cloud.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.